If you're wondering why I'm sitting in the middle of an empty room and why I'm by myself and not with my co-host Antonio, there's a couple reasons for that. What is up? This is episode 3.5 of the R&R podcast. First, something's wrong with his computer. It's a malfunction. So right now he can't record, free the boy. He'll be back next week. And I'm in the middle of an empty room because I'm moving. And I had a bunch of problems with my apartment. And so my tripod, my mic, my lights, my chair, everything that I have to record with is locked in the back of a U-Haul outside of my apartment. So bear with me. This episode is going to get published on Monday. So bear with me as I go through some of these topics. There was a lot of new music, surprisingly, on Friday that came out that I was actually pretty happy with. First off was Kill Bill by SZA featuring Doja Cat. Doja Cat tweeted out a couple days ago, I think it was last week, that she was tired of people saying that she couldn't rap or leaning into pop was sort of hindering her perception of how she wanted to be seen as a rapper. I'm going to throw that up on the screen. But this verse was actually pretty crazy. Her storytelling on it was really dope. And I think that we're going to get a lot more rapping verses from Doja. I think this is just a rollout for something else. And I'm excited for it because she's a great rapper. And I think it's just what she's going to be on sonically that's going to make the difference between it being rap and pop, because the beat really drives the direction and what genre it is. So I'm excited to see her go try some new things. The King and the Prince by Skilly Bang. I've been getting into Vybz Kartel, the King of Dancehall, recently, and to hear him quote unquote crown Skilly Bang the Prince and do a song with him was really it wasn't surprising to me. I feel like the dancehall artist that stands out most to me since I've started diving in has been Skilly Bang. I feel like his approach to music is very different. There's nobody that really sounds like him. He's doing stuff that other people aren't doing. So to hear them on the song, and I think he honestly had the better verse, if we're being real. I had to pull Genius up and go listen to it and go read what he was saying because, I have a problem with the thick accent initially. But the more you listen to it, the more you get it. I think Skilly Bang's verse was probably better than Vybz Kartel in my opinion, but I enjoyed the song, so it's definitely something you should go check out. I like when Nicki is back outside rapping. I feel like when she goes dormant and stuff, I think, to me, female rapping is pretty boring. There's some out there that stand out, but when Nicki's back out and rapping and doing verses, it's just more exciting. So I'm hoping she drops an album soon, and if she does, I'm definitely going to give it a listen. I'm actually not mad at the Ice Spice movement, right? Like, for a while, I think people look at rap and think it has to be serious, but it doesn't. But I seen a video of one of my favorite female podcasters talking about how Ice Spice is like the female equivalent of Soulja Boy.
I feel like Ice Spice is a female version of Soulja Boy.
In what way?
Very unserious, stupid music that we jam to. And look, do you know what? I love Ice Spice. Do you know what? Yeah. Not every rapper has to be a J. Cole or a Kendrick Lamar or someone that is a philosophical and does a punchline.
She's fun.
Sometimes I just want to dance in the club and just do this. And I feel like Soulja Boy was that of our time in that era. Like, who says hopped up out the bed, turn my swag on? Do you think that Kendrick Lamar's gonna be singing this type of lyrics? But it's dumb and it's good and it's boppy.
Yeah.
Turn my swag on.
I agree with that. I think like it's just a vibe. I seen like high schoolers out at the Rolling Loud concert, vibing out to it in the crowd. It was kind of crazy to see just like high school and college age boys jumping up and down the Ice Spice. But it makes sense, Another single that dropped was Back in Office by Saba and No ID. Saba does a lot of his own production with himself and Pivot Gang, so to see him get a very established producer like No ID to step in and help him, I think that this project is probably going to be crazy. Saba's been referring to it as Mixtape Saba coming back, and I think that No ID puts together really cohesive bodies of work. When I think about in the past what has been the most notable work that stands out to me, or the things that stand out that sort of hint at what I think this could be, was Logic's first album. I'm not a big fan of the Logic projects that came out after that, but that first project, I feel like he put it together very well, and No ID executive produced it. So I'm excited to see where this project goes, and hopefully we get some bigger features. I think Saba is one of the better rappers out of Chicago right now, so hopefully this connection can get him some songs that can give the project an extra push. A project that surprised me this weekend was also Equinox by Venna. I just literally did a video on Venna last week, and I just started getting familiar with his work and what he's done musically. And so to hear this project, it's a EP, 6 songs. He has a couple features on there from Nux, McJenkins, Masego, and some other people. But I like the jazz element that he brings to a lot of records. Like I said before, he executive produced one of my favorite projects last year, Alpha Place with Nux. And I think that his ear for music is just great. And this project is nice, it's short, it's sweet. I'll definitely have it on repeat for the next couple of weeks. But if you're interested in jazz or that crossover between jazz and rap or jazz and hip hop, I would definitely give this a listen. Party Next Door dropped Party Mobile, the chopped and slopped or the chopped and screwed version. I think that TikTok has brought a new way to repurpose music. And it makes me think of how we're making content, we're repurposing it and stuff like that. They're using these songs, and how many different ways can we monetize this song? You see people like Summer Walker speeding every song up, slowing it down, chopping it. I saw Jeremiah did a lo-fi album with one of those lo-fi vibes YouTube pages. He dropped a project a couple weeks ago. That was interesting to me, and I think social media is just making artists get a lot more creative in how they're releasing music and how they monetize it. And I don't know if I'll go back to this chopped and screwed album, but I think it's interesting, and I think that everybody should give it a listen if you like Party Next Door. But I think it's just something to look out for in terms of music and what we could see in the future and what's potentially going to be every artist's rollout or what's going to be on every artist's album. So 2 entries Antonio put on here. I'm going to put these in here. Yeah, I got you. But Georgia Smith, Try Me, the single, I went and listened to it. It was chill. I don't know if it's my cup of tea, but I enjoy Georgia Smith's music. So I'm excited for the project she says she has in store. So we'll see where it goes. But Antonio enjoyed it. He liked it. He said it sounded like Adele. So give it a go. And then he put Young Blue, Love Scars 2 on here. He's a real big fan of Love Scars 2. I feel like I'm speaking for him. And eventually he'll come back and speak for himself. So these 2 will be at the top of the agenda next week. But he seemed to be enjoying the project when he gave it a listen. I'm not as big a fan of Young Blue. I have no problem with him. I don't think he's bad. I just he doesn't really make it to my playlist, I feel like. But Antonio is a big fan of this one, so I'm going to go give it a listen. And one conversation that me and Antonio had during the podcast that didn't get recorded was about Drake biting sounds. Search and Rescue just came out a little while ago, and he used Yeat's producer, and you can sort of start seeing him lean into that sound or what's currently trending in that like Yeat-esque vibe. I'm not a big Yeat fan, so I can't even really give you a point of reference of where that comes from, but you can see when he starts playing around with different sonics. And Tonio asked me if I think Drake is biting sounds, and I don't think that's the question to ask. I think it's more like, what is biting a sound? And if he's biting somebody's sound, is that person biting somebody's sound? I feel like nothing's new under the sun. People just find different ways of creating and putting things together. But let's say he did get inspiration from Yeat and he made this song and people like it. One, he's doing it better. I don't want to say he's doing it better, but if people like it, then does it matter if Yeat did it too? Like, they like how Drake does it. And 2, did Yeat make the sound or did Yeat get it from somebody else? I feel like everybody has inspiration from somebody. So you can't really, like, you can sort of point towards originators and pioneers and give them credit, but to say that somebody's completely biting their sound, not find out where their references were from, it's like it's a pointless conversation in a way. Like, biting somebody's sound, I don't think it should be that big of a problem. I think if it's your sound, you're the best at doing it, people are going to imitate you. And that's a good thing. That means that you're doing something that people want to imitate. So I don't really think it's is Drake biting sounds, because I feel like a lot of the times when he goes and tries new sounds, he goes and does them with the artist he got it from. When he was on that little UK run with Dave and Heady One and Gigs, it wasn't like he was taking the sound and not working with them. He was working with them. He was doing songs with them, freestyles with them. So I don't really see a problem with it. I think he's going to continue to do this, and this is his way of staying relevant, trying new things, going and cross-pollinating demographics with different artists trying different things. And so I'm not mad at it. I see what people are saying, but I'm not mad at it. Something that just came across my timeline today was the Frank Ocean Coachella performance. It was kind of crazy, and I saw Sean C's video on it where he was going through people's tweets and certain employees talking about how they had a whole set design put forward, and then he ended up scrapping it and going on stage, and you see the videos of him in like the sweatpants and the sweatshirt vibing on stage with no mic. And I was so confused about it. I don't know. I did see also that he seems like he's going through a lot, but it is kind of petty to show up and give them that as the headliner of probably the biggest festival potentially in the world. Potentially. I think if he really felt that bad, or he really felt like he couldn't give a good performance, he probably should have just told them that he was going to cancel and they could have got another headliner. I'll be looking out to see if he does the same thing next week, because they have 2 weekends and he's supposed to perform again. This was a pretty short episode. I'm in a transitional period. I have no gear. I don't have my co-host, but you have to show up and put the rep in, And I know this episode has to go out, even though all this other stuff is going on, the show goes on. We'll still be posting on socials, and this week all the audio will be out. The platforms like when you have a couple more than one episode in there. So we were waiting to have 3 episodes, and now we do. So they'll probably go out tomorrow morning, and this will be out on Monday night. So if you're tuned in and you made it to the end, thank you. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, a like, share this with a friend. I'm excited to see where this is going to go. I'm just going to keep punching the clock, see where it takes me. Thank you for tuning in. See ya.